Good day, everybody. I'm Reverend Kenneth Solomon Badger, and I'd like to welcome you to the inaugural edition of An Issue of Faith. This is a topic where we will talk about faith, how faith interacts with our daily lives, how people of faith interact with each other, and also in their daily lives. Today, I have Dr. Nahshon Nitro. This young man is doing great things, not only in Jacksonville, but also throughout the nation. I ran into him, probably 7, 8 years ago, and I've been following him, and I just love the things that he is doing in the city with our young people, the way that he has established himself and the way that he has intermingled into the community. So, Dr. Nix, welcome. I'd like to let you tell the people a little bit about yourself. How about your background, Doc?
All right. Number one, Reverend Badger, thank you so much for this opportunity to be on your show, especially with the inaugural kickoff. And I'm fired up and excited about this opportunity. And just a little bit about me. I'm originally from upstate New York, Syracuse. Shout out to the Cuse. And what you would consider urban life or disadvantaged youth, per se, with a biological father in prison in Attica and a mother that struggled with substance abuse. I'm the oldest of 5 children, and basically I got into martial arts as a young child watching Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee.
Okay.
Jumping off my grandmother's sofa, karate chopping her dining room table.
Man, she wasn't happy about that, I'm sure.
And she could have beat me. She could have cussed me out. She could have put me on Ritalin. But instead, she signed me up for martial arts. And the rest is history from there. I mean, that was pretty much my foundation at 5 years old and my introduction.
At 5 years old, you were introduced into martial arts.
Yes.
So you've been at this for quite some time.
Yes, over 37 years. I have a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Taekwondo. I fought in the cage. And you called me Nitro a little earlier. And when I established a program and a curriculum through Team Nitro MMA, and the curriculum is called SEAL Team, like a Navy SEAL stands for Sea, Air, and Land.
Okay.
Our SEAL stands for Social, Emotional, and Academic Leadership through martial arts and mentoring.
All right. That's where I was going to lead with my next question. How have you intertwined your skills and your martial arts into your mentoring program? Because I know that you have a great mentoring program. That's something that I follow for quite some time. And I'm very impressed by your mentoring program and the people that you brought on board to help you with your mentoring program.
You're absolutely correct. Before I was able to really talk about all the added benefits, I was meeting with medical doctors, I was meeting with substance abuse counselors, I was talking to behavioral specialists, because I wanted to know the intricate details of how that awareness and the term martial and martial arts, Reverend Badger, actually means military.
Okay.
And being able to, so going back to my childhood, because everything is foundational for me, I feel like we're all older versions of our younger selves.
We are.
And I'm not knocking my biological father, and I'm not knocking my mom, who's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. She passed in 2020 from fentanyl. And my stepfather took our beautiful, blended, and blessed family from New York to Duval, Jacksonville, in the 90s for hope and a better future.
Okay.
And he had the Army background, so it was like every day I was being coached by a drill sergeant.
That's right, discipline.
Every single day.
Regimented.
Yeah, waking up 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, running 2 to 3 miles. I mean, it was just making me be present, making me stay in the moment. And then being able to get a great education from Edward Waters College.
Okay.
Now Edward Waters University.
EWU.
I got my degree in education, and I did my doctoral work at a New York Theological Seminary. And that's where I was able to build out all of my case studies using the urban core of Jacksonville and sampling, looking at the added benefits of being able to help children be aware of what they're doing. Because you cannot correct a behavior if you're not even aware of what you're doing.
There you go. And I like what you said about everything that you did to establish a foundation, because people don't understand that even when you get into this type of work, especially when you're dealing with mentorship, if you yourself do not have a solid foundation, then whatever you're doing is going to sink. You know, we have to have a foundation in something. And from your story, I can see that your faith has been a strong foundation, Doc. So tell me how it is working with the people that you work with, because I know you just don't work with people of the same religious backgrounds. Correct. As you are in striving to get your program off the ground. And I know we had recently talked that you're actually looking for a building itself to move your program into. So tell me how all of that works. How does that interact when you're working with people of a different religious background?
Okay, so there's a old saying that says people don't care about what you know until they know how much you care.
All right.
Like they don't care about what you know until they know how much you care. And I believe in servant leadership. I believe in bottom-up leadership, and I believe in transformational leadership. Servant leadership is I want to lead by example. Bottom-up leadership is I don't believe that change happens from the top down, but from the bottom up, which is working with the people. And then transformational leadership is I believe that you are the conduit, or you are the leader that is needed to bring about the change that we need to make a better community.
Okay.
So, so I put a lot into leading by example, which is one of the affirmations that we use. And one of the things that we teach the kids is that without discipline, dreams are destroyed. And with discipline, dreams are developed.
I hear you.
So my discipline is to be able to have Christ-like conduct and conversation, regardless of whether I have a pulpit to use.
There you go.
The book talks about we are living epistles. And whether people turn one page between Genesis and Revelations, they know the book of Badger. They know the book of Nix.
Exactly.
And that's what they're using as their point of reference pertaining to any religion or faith. Let me look and see what is he practicing? Because religion is not what you preach. Religion is what you practice. And what we practice is what our youth are using as a model, as a guide, as a demonstration, and letting them know that I don't necessarily run from conflict. Martial arts typically teaches you, if you follow boxing, anybody, Muhammad Ali is an exception, not the rule. Whenever a punch is coming at you, Reverend Badger, the natural instinct is to lean back.
Right.
But in true combat sports, they teach you to lean in. That's a learned behavior. That's a trained response.
Right.
Meaning not to lean back, but to lean in, so that way you're in a position to counter what's coming at you. And I'm a firm believer in contact. I'm a firm believer in follow up and follow through. And I want to let folks know not how weak they are, but how strong they are. And how can we work together? It
is so poignant that you said that example about you have a natural instinct to do certain things. And then it is even more poignant that you were saying that you have to show people what you know. If you didn't know, my grandfather pastored here in this city for over 50 plus years. Ooh. And in all of the conversations that we ever had, once he found out that I was going to into the ministry and that I'd answer my call, he said, let me tell you something. He said, the one thing that you can do in life, he said, the best sermon that you could ever preach is the one that you live. Because that's what Christ did. People have a misconception that everybody knew who Jesus was as he walked the earth. But you have to stop and think about this. When they came to capture Christ, when they came to arrest him, they didn't know who he was, right? Because Judas actually had to go up and kiss him on the cheek so they recognized exactly who he was.
Yes.
Right? So your example is to me, foundational. right? Because what you're doing here in this city amongst our young people is generational. Because of the pure and simple fact that we have a generation of young people who don't understand how we got to where we are.
Correct.
And they don't know how to battle the things that they battle, the things that they are confronted with in this day and age, because everybody has a cell phone, and they believe just about anything that they see come through that cell phone. And we need to have people like you, Dr. Nix, to make sure that they see what is real.
And like I said, through a soundboard, a collective effort, and teamwork, we can counter destructive behaviors and help build up the dignity, decency, and determination within our youth. And like I said, it's not a one size fits all. Our goal is to be able to activate that leadership ability. Through research, it says that social, emotional, and academic leadership builds executive functional skills. Executive functional skills translates into workforce development.
Right.
So if you can't take a direct command, especially if it's right, it's not just for the military, but it's also for the corporate sector.
Yes.
It's also for the carpenter, the plumber, the electrician, the engineer. I mean, it's not, and I tell folks that I don't believe that reading will make you a better martial artist, but I believe martial arts will make you a better reader.
Okay.
Meaning that because if you're not present, you're not focused, and you're not disciplined, those are just letters and words on pages. But when you're alert, focused, aware, and disciplined, you're trying to absorb every aspect of information and tapping into your modality or your learning style.
I hear you.
And just like I said, just constantly reinforcing what works best for that child, what works best for that atmosphere. And at the same time, being able to take some of the most hostile environments and still make it a calm place to be able to process and digest information.
I hear you. Now let me ask you something. I know we've had this brief conversation before. What do you believe is the biggest hindrance in reaching out to the current community leaders that we have today? I know we branched into traditionalism, right? And I know we had a conversation, and you said to me, Reverend Badger, you're different than your counterparts. Right. So why do you think there's such a hindrance or a roadblock? People putting up roadblocks or not wanting to step outside of their comfort zones, because if they look at what you're doing within the community, right, it's much needed. And I can speak for me. I've been doing a lot of things with a lot of organizations in the community for a lot of years, and even in my travels while I was doing military service.
And thank you for your service.
Thank you. But now I'm on the tail end of my lifespan. So, and I told someone once before, we cannot leave behind the generations that are here now. We have to have someone else to come up, grab the torch, bridge the gap, and then be able to reach this current generation and understand what they're going through, what kind of issues that they have personally, what is hindering them from putting their faith in God in one way or another. So what do you believe is the biggest hindrance for us all coming together as men of faith?
That is a very stacked question. I want to use an illustration, and I want to go into an answer. Okay. Using social media, I was watching a female, the American relay team, and the caption says she has complete trust in her teammate. So, have you ever ran track?
I did.
Okay, and typically you get some type of announcement because you're staying in your lane and you're focused. You can see somebody's coming. You know they're coming around that curve or coming up the straight, right? And typically there's a signal or a sound that says, step, like get moving. Don't wait till you get the stick to start running. Don't wait till you get the baton to start running. Right. So it's like step, and the sister is gone, but her hand is back there, right? And her teammate literally grabs her hand and puts the baton in her hand to where she ensures that she does not drop it. But the one who's next to take the baton ain't looking back.
All right.
She's trusting the fact that the baton, because if you drop the baton, you're disqualified.
Absolutely.
The race is over.
Done.
What I have experienced from my lived experience is almost like you have to pry that baton out of our elders' hands or wait for them to die. And I don't say that with any joy. I don't say that with any smirk or any laughter, because every other nationality that I've came across, and I'm speaking specifically about my lived experience when it comes to the black community.
Okay.
They have to die with the baton in their hand and then say, now you can have it. And it is so counterproductive, where every other culture is taught to build up the next generation.
Right.
There is no rites of passage. There is no, and no pun intended, there is no like badge to say, okay, you have completed this stage of manhood. You have completed this stage of boyhood. You are now skilled as a warrior. You're skilled as a leader. You're skilled as a preacher. You're skilled in medicine, and there is no celebration to say, listen, we're not saying that you have completed the journey, but what we're saying is that we're validating the fact that you're ready for the next stage of life.
I hear you.
And with that comes this harness. And with this harness means this is the weight of responsibility that comes with what we have just given you.
Exactly.
So what's happening is that social media is validating leaders that are not qualified.
Come on now.
So now we allow the entertainment. So this is what I say about church. I say people come to church to be entertained, and people go to entertainment for education.
Right.
So it's such a conundrum that for true, authentic voices, it is going to take for us to do a reprogramming to let folks know that, listen, if you want this recognition, then it should come with this responsibility.
Absolutely.
And who are you bringing up?
That part.
And those are the things that I've noticed. And then I will say that everything begins and ends with respect. And at the same time, there's this word called trust.
There you go.
Trusted voices should have some type of background or some type of years in service or years in experience before we just give them trust.
Yes.
Because we're trusting folks who are not necessarily preparing. They're just holding the spot.
Okay.
And meaning that you've also seen me in the campaign.
I have.
And you even made the joke about the umbrella that I can keep because you saw me walking, knocking door to door in the rain, without an umbrella.
Without an umbrella.
So meaning that I believe in that boots on the ground, not necessarily from a song perspective, but from a prophetic perspective. You should be boots on the ground.
Absolutely.
And you should be boots on the ground consistently, because how in the world can you say that you're echoing the voice and the sentiments of a group of people that you have no contact with?
I think you hit the nail on the head, Doc.
I mean, I can show you needs assessments. I can show you surveys. I can show you grandma's responses to what they want. I can show you mama's responses to what they want. I can tell you what the children say that they want. And until they feel safe, the playgrounds will continue to stay empty. Right. And then at the same time, like I said, it's not not one time from knocking on any doors did anybody say, well, I just want $1 million. What they told me is that I want to be safe in the community that I live in. What they told me is that I want to be able to make a livable wage from the job that I'm working. What they're saying is that the bus will get me from the north side to the south side so I can make more than $15 an hour, but the bus won't get me back across town. Right. So it's not complicated, and it's not trigonometry. It's not physics. It's just, how much do you care? And I think that those are some of the things that I feel like we've missed out on as a culture and a community that can really have long-term impacts within our city.
And that is pretty much it in a nutshell, Doc. And what you said, how much do you care? That is the question, right? Because as men of faith, men of God, we're supposed to carry that love within us. So if you have that love, you should care. If you don't care, you have no empathy for your fellow man. I can say, without a doubt, that you, young man, you care. And with that being said, I want to bring this to an end. I want to say again, thank you, Dr. Nahshon Nix, Mr. Nitro. I would ask you each to take some time and look up Dr. Nix, see the things that he's actually doing within the community, see the things that he is doing not just in our community, but the foundations and the collaborations that he is making throughout the nation. Dr. Nahshon Nix, thank you very much for being our inaugural guest for An Issue of Faith. Thank you. Peace. God bless.